English is extremely good now, and it didn't take that long to get to that level. Usually what happens is the lady, first of all the meetings take place in our office with a bilingual member of staff in attendance. Secondly, most of my clients normally will purchase the talking dictionary, which does help as well. Thirdly, the lady will probably go to college between the man's first and second trip, and then when she will come to the gentleman's home country, she will then also probably go to college to improve her language skills. If you say to me, I only want to meet ladies who speak good English, so be it. You'll still probably have about 300 ladies or so that we can introduce you to. But I do feel you should try to be sort of more open-minded and consider ladies who are very nice people, but they just can't maybe convey their feelings as directly as if they spoke good English. So it's horses for courses. Either way, we will help you out. We find that the ladies who speak good English invariably have had a higher level of education, private education. They've probably been put through university. State education finishes at the age of 14 years of age. So if a lady's got good English, she's probably gone to university. Her parents have paid for it. My wife, for example, her brothers were both put through university, but Taffany was not put through university. They said, oh, well, you're the last daughter, you can stay at home and work in the rice fields, and her mother and father. And that is not, that wasn't what Taffany wanted, and she didn't. She got a job in Bangkok as a diamond checker, and the rest is history. She met me. But what I'm trying to say to you is, you shouldn't discriminate against ladies whose English level is poor, because you shouldn't use that as your main criteria for choosing a Thai wife, but it's up to the individual.
Why does Thai Professional not provide a letter or email exchange service for potential clients?
When we first started in '97, we did provide such a service for a few short months, and we found it was a complete waste of time. First of all, we found that the gentlemen who contacted us were not really in any way, shape or form able at that time to consider going to Thailand. It was just like they liked the idea perhaps of having a pen pal or whatever, or a friend in another country. But at the end of the day, we would find then maybe a guy who did go out 6 or 9 months later, the lady's gone. Or the agencies or people who are communicating in that medium are invariably going to find that these ladies, they don't even know if these ladies are writing letters at all. Guys who write letters to ladies or send emails to ladies, they don't know who they're talking to. And my wife, long before she met me, she joined some American agency, I think, and found out that this guy said, okay, honey, I'm going to come out and see you in a few months' time. And she wasn't writing letters after a while. It was turning into a joke. Her sister was writing, my friend was writing, and all these letters that you find that a lot of them are written on a template. And so they really have no value whatsoever. So I would say to you, writing is a total waste of time. Writing is for people who are really perhaps not ready to do this yet, but they perhaps like the idea of having a pen pal, a friend. The guy who's out there is in the driving seat. These ladies are looking for a partner now. They're looking for a long-term partner, but they're looking for a meeting now in Bangkok, not 9 months later.
Why do you not accept cold callers at your Bangkok office? You may just want to come and take a look before committing to use your service.
Well, first of all, the whole purpose of doing this film is so that they can take a look and they can see exactly how we tick, how I tick, what we do, see our staff, see our setup. So they don't need to come down here to take a look. They've already taken a look by watching this video. But we have found in the past that any gentleman who've sort of somehow managed to find our office and actually have come to our office, my staff are under strict instructions, first of all, to ask them politely to leave the premises and contact me directly by email, and then I will discuss with them their requirements and decide whether or not we could help them. It's very unlikely we will be able to help them, because most guys who would come to agencies like that in Thailand are perhaps just out here on holiday, and they've got a more sort of casual mindset, and they've maybe been going around and having a bit of fun and thinking, well, let's go and see what the girls are like in this agency. It's very embarrassing. All our staff are ladies. We don't employ any men at all in our office, and it would cause great embarrassment to our staff and the ladies on our books. The ladies know that when a man comes to our office, he's genuine. They know that he's signed up with a 12-month contract. They know he's looking for a wife. They know he's not some casual tourist who's just popped his head in to have a look, which is a waste of time.
What duration of trip should a man plan for if he is using your service?
I would suggest, first of all, reiterate that he will need to make 2 trips before this finally comes to fruition. The first trip could be as short as a week, but ideally 10 days or a fortnight would be better. But a week, we've had many clients fixed up in a week. I've had one guy from Miami on a website, came out for 3 days and he got fixed up, but he had to come out and spend much longer with the lady later, obviously. To answer your question, minimum of a week on a first trip and minimum of 2 weeks, or 2 weeks is sufficient, on the second trip, because on the second trip there's more work to be done. On the second trip there'll probably be a wedding, there'll be a Buddhist wedding, there'll be embassy application to be lodged, and we need the time to do that. So first trip, minimum 7 days, second trip, 2 weeks.
What happens if a man is unsuccessful on the first trip?
If a man is unsuccessful on the first trip, I had a gentleman who flew out with me on the plane a few weeks ago, when I've been out here for a few weeks now, and he seemed like a really serious guy. He came in, he saw ladies for 2 days, and then he didn't turn up for a date with a lady, and we phoned the other lady who'd been seeing through us, and she said, I haven't heard from him either. He's disappeared. We phoned the hotel up, he checked out of his hotel and gone. He disappeared. I'm not saying what he did or did not get up to, but at the end of the day, he wasn't successful because he didn't stay the course. Guys who come out and take their eye off the ball and don't keep at it if they're not successful on the first day or two are the guys who will, not succeed. If a man is unsuccessful on a first trip because he's run out of time, or maybe he couldn't make his mind up on ladies, or he's fallen in love with 2 ladies, which has been known to happen, I can assure you, I recommend guys don't see perhaps 2 male ladies, or they get totally confused. He would then have to come out on a second trip, and he'd have to start all over again. This works 2 ways. I mean, you might decide at the end of the first trip you've gone very well with the lady, I'm getting engaged. The second trip, the period between it's not a cooling off period, but it's a period for reflection, and it's a period for, you would then come out on the second trip, and then you would consolidate the relationship with a view to moving forward. But the man could come back at the end of the first trip, having been successful, and say, right, now I want to start all over again. So if he's not successful on the first trip, basically he will come out again. The service is for 12 months. As long as the gentleman meets the lady during that 12-month period from the first date he's arrived in our office on the first trip, we will honour and do the visa. So it's a 12-month service, so he doesn't need to worry. Obviously he's got the additional expense of an extra trip, but I mean, it's a small price to pay if you're looking for your future life partner.
What checks do you do on the suitability of the men on Thai professionals' books?
I like to meet, if they live in the UK, and I'm in the UK at the time, I like to meet potential clients face to face. If I cannot do that and they're from another country, I will have extensive emails, and I will definitely phone them and talk to them and find out how they tick, what they're looking for, what their aspirations are. And yes, one has to make a value judgment. It's not perfection. But at the end of the day, we've done this for a long time. One has to use a gut feeling. As I've said before, we've had clients who come out here who have perhaps behaved inappropriately and maybe shouldn't have been doing this. And I've only talked to them over the phone, and they've been 3,000 miles away, and the impression that they'd given had not been the actual reality of the situation when they came out here. So to answer your question, again, as I said before, we're not private detectives. If I cannot see the people face to face, I would at least want to talk to them extensively over the phone, sometimes for a few hours, if necessary, so that we know what's going on, and that the client knows what it entails, and he's not coming out here on a fool's errand.
Is it possible for a man who is separated, pending an imminent divorce, to commence using Thai professional service before his divorce is complete?
Absolutely so. Quite a lot of my clients do this. But he will have to put his cards on the table. He has to say, look, I'm separated from my ex-wife, pending a divorce. It will be through in X number of weeks or months. And we would then say that when he came out on the second trip, he would then be a single man, and we would be in a position to move forward. As long as the gentleman puts his cards on the table, tells the truth, it's not going to be any problem at all. And that applies to everything. We like to be totally candid. We like the lady and the man to be totally candid. As long as he puts his cards on the table and say, look, I'm not divorced yet. I've got a man out here at the moment who's not divorced yet. And he's put his cards on the table, and there's not a problem with it, because she knows what's happening. There's only a problem if later we find out, well, I didn't tell you I'm actually not divorced yet, and it's going to take another X number of months or 2 years or something, and then we're up a gum tree. So be candid, be straight, and it's no problem.
Is it possible for a man who is not working or who is retired from work to use Thai professional service?
Our service hinges on eventually doing a visa application for the lady to come to the gentleman's home country. If he is retired and of independent means and not just on a state pension, or if he's got maybe a state pension and savings that he can draw income from, if he's a retired businessman, if he's got significant assets that we can show on paper a certain level of income, I can still help them. I've had clients as old as 86, and he certainly wasn't working. I've had clients as young as 43 who retired, and we fixed them up. It's not an impediment. What it boils down to is if the income on paper that can be shown on paper